what we've seen a lot of. So that said, Neferi has really dropped off in terms of win rate after the changes on 0.7, and teams I think are kind of figuring out where to put Neferi in terms of priority at the moment. So curious to see if LNG takes that one away, as they will not take away Averis instead. And now see how early this Neferi potentially goes in the draft.
We'll see if it's going to be the Rumble, and it will be. So no
Yeah.
surprise there at the very least, recognizing that Rumble is super strong. And already, we're just going to see Haichao throw down the gauntlet, right? We're going to see a Ryze get locked in. They're going to look to pair this with a Neferi. It's been a really strong duo so far.
Yeah, I do like this one for LNG, and we'll see what 5T5 can do in his debut, getting a carry in the jungle, as expect EDG to round out those solo laners. I don't love the Ahri into the Ryze. I will say maybe they think it could be a Ryze top. Ryze top can be played into Rumble, even though we think this is going to be the pairing into the mid lane just to get that pressure with the Realm Warp being able to go both ways with the Neferi too. Really good pairing with the Ryze and Neferi. But Ahri being locked in as well, Yanni. Kind of a little bit of a self-counter pick in lane. I know that the build changed a little bit for Ahri. It's Aroa and Leandries, but historically, Ryze is a champ where you can punish Ahri pre-6 with the help of a jungler, and 5T5 can set up for that.
Yeah, and 5T5 will probably do so, right? Because of Neferi's penchant to be aggressive in the early game. We've seen Neferi's rack up a lot of early kills earlier than a lot of junglers. So getting into the second half of bans here, what are we thinking, Cubby? I think that EDG is going to need a little bit more pick potential coming out here to pull together with this Xinjiao, with this Ahri, and given the fact that we're seeing Kalista taken away, LNG clearly focusing on this bottom half.
Yeah, for me, I think I'm kind of curious to see what they go for. I think that you do have some options. It's just tough because I see Ahri, Xin, Rumble, and I'm thinking like, hey, Kai'Sa could be, or Ezreal could be kind of nice here. These bans, that Kai'Sa ban, I'm wondering if we see Ezreal taken away from LP, just to be able to get out of the potential wombo that can be thrown down against you. Might be nice to have that mobility, and with the Ryze too, those empowered rune prisons. I will say we're lacking a little bit of crowd control for LNG. So Ezreal would really lack in that department, but again, would feel really nice in what's showing for EDG. So I do think that we have choices, because if you pick Ashe, you're really vulnerable to Xin, Ahri, Rumble, but it might fit the comp better. So just wondering what LNG go for here.
Yeah, I do think that if you end up going with this Ashe, that would just be positive for LNG if EDG decides, hey, we're going to go after LP. Like, everybody else on LNG is like, yeah, man, please target our AD carry. First game on the team, guess what? Big target on your back, buddy. Good luck on the back line.
Let's see if it's that or the Ezreal could be a potential misfortune. This is a bit of a deny pick, as we've seen MF paired up a lot with Rumble Xin. But again, I think the lacking of damage doesn't matter as much when you're lacking a tank as EDG. They have that Rumble Xin. But yeah, I think that this Jhin for me would make a lot of sense. Just bring that utility, bring that crowd control to help really keep people in place and open up Xin Rumble to do a lot more work in these fights.
Let's see what they want to pair it with, because I'm pretty sure this will be locked in. Rel would be a good takeaway. Rel typically paired up with a Misfortune and would give LNG that hard engage they sorely need outside of what we're looking at Ambessa ultimate, and we're looking at Neferi using her ultimate as well. So this would be a really nice takeaway. Maybe they'll end up going with something that fits their comp a little bit more. Really dependent on how you feel, right? Would you rather take it away, or would you rather go with something that's better for you?
Could be Nautilus, so yeah, likely Rel. Do you have that Misfortune power play now? If Rel burns Flash, have that set up with the empowered bullet time. So EDG still, I like the idea they have where it's what's trying to outrange what LNG has. If MF isn't casting ultimate or Ryze isn't ulting, the range that they have in those champions, pretty low. Potential to really outplay that with Xin, Ahri, Rumble, Jhin. Just control space and make sure you can utilize the range advantage that you have. Whenever that's the case, onus is going to be on LNG to have those clean engages. So the Realm Warps from Haichao, the public executions from Zika, and also the power play on the Rel when you burn that Flash, burn that ultimate with the crash down and bullet time on top. Those are going to be your real opportunities to close the gap and make sure that those engages are sound. So we'll see if they can execute that against EDG.
And I think EDG definitely have a timer here, right? They need to go hard, go fast early, right? Make sure that this Ambessa can't farm up. Make sure that this Rise is unable to farm up because you have these great pick tools. You've got this good early fighter in Jin Zhao, right? So, you know, I want to see this Ahri, this Nautilus move around and make these plays and shut at least one member down on the side of LNG. And if you can do that, I think you'll be in good shape.
Definitely have the potential to do that. The one thing, though, Rumble, for me, late game can be really, really strong, especially in a game where you do have pretty immobile carries like Rise and Misfortune, who, again, Realm Warps and, yeah, Strut's a thing, but still, that red carpet going to be slowing people down, and the curtain call is going to be slowing people down. I do like the draft that EDG has. I think that, in theory, outranging Rise and Misfortune and just outranging this comp is a good way to beat it, so we'll see if they can absorb the engages from LNG and play this one out cleanly.
Yeah, it's good thematic fit for themselves, right?
Yeah.
You know, this will be really worrisome for 5T5, right? Because, you know, this is a champion that we've mentioned, this Nefiri, that wants to get aggressive early, that has done well to get a lot of early kills. My God, that skybox is beautiful. That is so cool. But a champion that, again, we expect to see making early moves, and if you misstep, right, like, I know the dogs can kind of block for you sometimes, but there's a lot of opportunities for you to just get picked off and die.
Well, diving on in, we're going to see what ends up happening. It looks like we have EDG favored a little bit early on with the drafts, whereas LNG favored later on. With the LPL bot we have, I always find that one interesting, just how I don't know exactly how they calculate the percentages, but do feel like they have an okay grasp on the scaling. So, agreeing with you, Yanni, early on, potential for EDG to make a lot of plays.
Yeah, LNG, what we really need to see is Haichao, right? We've seen Rises make some really creative Realm Warps early. A champion that everybody, I think, still has the idea that, oh, we're a late game scaling champion, right? That's all you're going to do. Is we are seeing Ignites getting burned here. All right. No further trading, but Wink taking the brunt of that damage.
A nice trade coming out here from LNG as the sustain advantage. It is a fleet on, so we'll be able to out-sustain MF through this early lane, but still, early trades going in LNG's favor, and both junglers making their way towards the bot lane, so each team kind of making things a little bit volatile. See if we get any action as the junglers make their way down.
Zhuo hitting level 2 first, forcing his flash and Wink's flash as well. So I like the early aggressiveness coming out of this LNG bot lane, right? This is especially against the buddy duo of On and Wink. If you want to really get your game kick-started and get your group Nirvana kick-started, this is what you have to do. Play with reckless abandon sometimes.
Yeah, nice react flash from Wink on the back half of that one. It can sometimes be hard to react to, but just knowing that it was a 2-to-1 advantage and that play was definitely available for Zhuo. Gets himself out of there and likely saves his life. As looking at the top side, looks like we got the brand new jungler for LNG on this brand new Nefiri jungle pick, making their way into the jungle and actually just going to straight up take away the Raptors from Xin Zhao. As Xiaohao did not scout this one. That's going to be a freebie for the Nefiri.
They disrespected this man. And he's going to make them know. He's going to put the league on notice. He's already stealing camps 3 minutes into his debut. That's always a nice thing to hang your hat on. And we'll see if he's able to use whatever small leads he can get. So Zhuo is going to have to hop out of there. He gets ignited too.
I'd force him out. Xiaohao gets the bad news. We'll be in time, though, for this crab, which 5 probably has to drop. So yeah.
Sag, you lose out on the crab, but it's okay.
Might be a double crab, frankly.
Yeah.
As Rumble top can be tough.
LP getting taken low. Xiaohao here, ready to make this dive happen. 5T5 does has a very full health bar. He'll get engaged on first. Hops under the turret here. Just going to try and, you know, force him to stay here, keep the dog on the leash, and go steal away camps. Turnabout is fair play. Oh, no.
He's got some help, too. It's not been spotted yet. Just going to be a smite away. So no double crab scenario, but we Xiaohao able to get a camp for himself on the back half as he evens up the jungle trade. And EDG going to take their resets. We'll say bot lane's going towards bot, so no one making a fast play for the Grubs early on. And curious, I know that you were talking a lot early, Yanni, about how EDG likely favored the Grubs a little bit more in their group stage games, would give up a couple of those early Dragons. Curious with the bot lane going bot for this one, if they are planning on switching things up at all, maybe prioritizing that first Dragon. They do have a little bit of edge in the bot lane after the early lane phase here.
It'll be dangerous for them to do that, right? Because they could do that, and if they want to go and rush it right away, obviously could sacrifice a lot of their tempo to try and go up to those Grubs afterward. But do you really want to give over Grubs to Ryze and to Mbessa? Ryze, as we know, very strong side laner. Mbessa, a complete menace with them. That's a dangerous game to play, Cubby.
Yeah, I think overall Grubs used better by LNG, so if EDG were to try and take this Drake, could be nice. And Zhao making his way towards the bot side again. As Nefiri did have a little bit of a later base, went for the super clear. Xin going to have to base before he does make his way down here, but his topside camp's been cleared out. So, yeah, I do think we're going to get our sights set on the Dragon here for both teams.
Yeah, 5T5 has already been pinging on the bottom side. Pink ward placed down in the river, so he will be spotted out. Zhuo taken to about half, but is ready to go in. Recognizes there's no flash on Wink. He will get stunned, and they're going to go for the full engage. See if they're able to chew through Zhuo. That's not going to happen.
Oh?
Or will it, actually? He does go
trade.
down before they can get Wink. It will end up being a trade, but the question is on the backside here, how much damage can On actually do? Can he allow Xiaohao to get an advantage down here to go get this Dragon? The root is out.
I mean, that's well worth it. That's a kill on to On. And now we have Nefiri being found. Okay.
It's taking a lot of damage. Xiaohao does quite a bit early, just has the Tunneler in the inventory, but it seems to outdamage this Nefiri, provided the Nefiri is not actually on top of you, right? But 5T5 getting this kill does mean that the Snowball could be ready to go.
I'm still just curious. I mean, we're 6:30 in, and no one's posturing for the Dragon or the Grubs, so interested to see which objective ends up being looked at first by either of our teams here. Really feel like you do have to have Jhin base on this wave, so I think this is the opportunity where you can rotate him up top and then look for the Prio Grubs.
Yeah, we see Zhuo hanging out in the mid lane, looking to unlock Haichao just a little bit, but they haven't really been able to do anything off of it, right? Wink is moving up, spotted on a ward. And Jhin with the back on coming up to the top side means that EDG are going to look to take these Grubs away. Doesn't look like LNG has too much interest in securing those. They did have some pings on the Dragon, but nothing more.
And I feel like can make their way back down after those topside camps taken, but we'll see if any of these Grubs contested. Xin did hit 6 along with the Nefiri, just dinged it off the red buff with that secured. Both teams going to posture, but yeah, 5-5 going to drop.
Yeah, and this is really curious, Cubby. I mean, I guess that LNG is a little concerned about getting their solo laners behind. You know, Rumble does have a lot of power at level 6, can always show up to a fight. Obviously, he doesn't have teleport available, so he can't show up to a Dragon fight. But, you know, if you die in a fight, then maybe you're just kind of cooked at that point. So I guess I can respect the amount of care they're putting into this first game.
I mean, is it care or just refusal to make plays, Yanni?
Yeah,
I think,
you know, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice.
I know. I think that's where I'm at right
scared.
now.
They seem a little too scared right now. A little too timid.
They're dropping Dragon, too. Like, they don't have edge bot lane.
They're not dropping Dragon.
Okay.
Right, they're going to go on to Wink.
Like
Wink going to
this.
land the hook, and Xiaohao is right there. The unvulnerability, untargetability for 5T5, but he's going to flash over the wall, but Angel's in hot pursuit. The dogs, though, are protecting him, and here's the bullet time, but he gets blocked out. LP flashes in, looking to get more damage. They find Xiaohao, and now it's a 4v3. On's got to run away, but can Zhuo catch up? Here comes the Realm Warp. Good use of it, and Zhuo shows up, and he splits the difference between the support and the AD carry, and that means that Wink is caught, and he falls, and the Dragon should go to LNG.
Ended up being nice in the back half thanks to a beautiful bullet time from LP, getting the majority of the targets against EDG, and also Angel threw everything to try and chase this Nefiri, but couldn't connect on the charm. One of the puppers ate it up, and that made a big difference in the end with Nefiri able to escape. So much was used to try and close the gap against that Nefiri.
Take a look at this replay. It's, you know, looking good early, right? Already you've taken 5T5 to half HP. He's forced to flash, forced to use his protection. But again, the dogs. Everybody loves dogs, but Angel loved the dog a little bit too much there.
Yeah, and that flash from Wink, too, it took him out of the rest of the fight. So, yes, it got him around bullet time. He was looking for the cancel, but a nice flash forward from LP as well to escape that danger, and they were able to pull off the fight. Yeah, I mean, again, pretty pleasantly surprised there from LNG, able to turn that one around. Curious if they did pick up the Dragon as we head out of the replay. Looks like they did not secure the objective, so they opted in for the resets, and that first Dragon still standing.
And you know what? I'm actually okay with that. You know, you get your Rise to go back, get that Rod of Ages, get your tier. This is okay. If you want to give up that early Dragon because you took such a good fight there, I think that's okay. The only problem is you didn't really get a gold lead off of it, but it's still early. You're not really too worried about that. Now you're set up for it once again, so they could take this Dragon if they want, but now it's made a weird timer with the Grubs.
Looks like in the replay, Ambessa was forced out of the top side, so a bit of a lead for ZDZ on this Prio Rumble. And as we get back into the potential Dragon Pit, LNG, they're set up. This Neferi's strong.
On's caught here. He does have all summoners, but here comes the Hound's Pursuit. He's taking a half, and he's got to flash away.
Curtain Call still available on. Should be able to participate in any fight, but a good flash summoner spell burned pretty much for free by LNG, so we have seen some good stuff so far from 5 to 5, and I gotta say that the combo with the Rise Neferi, it's been a big one with Neferi really cropping up on the last patch. It's been some good attempts so far from LNG to actually use this duo to snowball. I know that you wanted to see Haichao with someone that could escape lane, make some plays early, and so far you've gotten that wish, Yanni, and it's looked pretty good for LNG.
Yeah, maybe, just maybe. I know it's early. We're only 11 minutes into Group Nirvana here. But maybe, just maybe, LNG has found the sauce to play a little bit different, right? They look a little bit different in this early game. And, you know, EDG, I'm really disappointed by Xiaohao and really Angel, right? Outside of that Dragon play where Angel tried to make a big play, I haven't seen him move at all.
Someone stuck in this lane again. I like the Rise into the Ahri. I was a little bit surprised to see Ahri taken into Rise, just given that historically, we didn't see any plays made pre-6 on Ahri, but with Rise, you definitely have the availability. You can do so, right? And also, you get tanky enough where Ahri can't really combo you. And if you're able to get, you know, those machine gun spells off later on, can be quite deadly. So I do like the pick from Haichao. Thought it was a interesting selection from Angel going with the Ahri this game. Just into that Rise matchup again, not one that I'm a fan of particularly. We'll see if that can continue to be good for LNG here moving forward as Grubs. Fourth Grub secured, but LNG want to get in here and at least try and take one.
The top laners are ready to make their impact. ZDZ near that danger zone, and here comes Wink over the wall. Angel from behind, good hook lands. There's the equalizer. It splits the gap. Double knock there as 5T5 is burning to death and goes down. They get a quick pick, and they will secure 5 Grubs as LNG managed to snag 1, but overall good for EDG.
Yeah, of course, that untargetable from Neferi was used to try and get out of the depth charge, but when he came out of that, depth charge still found him as it was chasing its way into the back line. I think that was the difference maker in making sure that EDG got a kill, and now looking for more, of course, big grub advantage. They're going to overload on this top side, try and melt down this turret. Love this play from EDG.
Yeah, really fantastic stuff, and for LNG, they should have known. They should have known the powerful Rumble. Maybe you want to stay away. They don't get anything else, and now they're just sort of playing catch-up, right? But it's so many plates have gone. Zhuo is going all in here with a good engage. Angel's got to use his ultimate to try to get out. ZDZ is overheated. But it looks like he should be able to walk this one out. So nothing doing for LNG there. EDG still making good plays.
Yeah, all the tools burned into the Ahri, who had ult and flash up. So probably not the best target there for LNG. And that flash on Rel, again, talked about that potential power play with the combo coming in. That was used there by Zhuo for nothing. So a big point of power now missing for whenever the teams want to potentially look at the next fighter. Actually sniff out one of these dragons. We had all 6 grubs taken before a single dragon was.
Yeah, and you know, maybe Zhuo was just showing them, I can do that. I can make this flash play, right? You know, just putting EDG on notice perhaps, but we're going to need to see LNG make some more plays with purpose, right? It just felt like they were like, hey, they're all grouped up for grubs. Maybe we should go fight them. Well, maybe you shouldn't, right? Zika still needs a little bit more time to try to get in the game. And, you know, this guy's essentially the LNG elder statesman at this point, the franchise player, I would think, as Alk would put it. And, you know, with WeiWei gone, he's going to be the guy that they're going to look to for a lot of guidance, having, you know, gone to Worlds and been a pretty good player And in this game, you know, he hasn't made a misstep, right? He's been in a tough matchup, but we've yet to see his impact.
Of course, that Mbessa will scale nicely into the game, so we will see if Zika can continue to be a solid player on a struggling team, really, which is tough to do as a top laner as well. So, still feel like he's got some game in him. LNG trying to make sure that they find the game, though, as
Cubby,
a team.
What's going on? What am I looking at?
I know, Dragon's actually being hit. It's shocking.
Damn, that's crazy. That's so weird that this Dragon spawned at 14:30 this game. I think we should look into that, you know?
It's a crazy new patch, you know?
Yeah. It's certainly not the party Drake, that's for sure.
Yeah, where's my Pengu Garen on the Rift?
Yeah.
You know? I came here to cast eye candy.
I have not seen one party favor on this map so far.
Yeah, you know, as someone that hides eye candy when I play League of Legends, I've been playing a little bit more ranked of late. I wonder why.
Maybe I should hide eye candy. You know, you might be onto something. But I've got too many nice skins to hide eye candy.
That's true.
LNG looking to take down this turret. They've already lost the first turret war, but they managed to get some good gold onto their jungler and mid laner, which is very relevant.
Again, Haichao is the one that really has the lead, and eyes have to be on him. I said that it's a player that I was a little bit surprised to see with changes being made to LNG. Haichao wasn't the one that was, you know, swapped out. We have seen games where he has picked up early leads. It's just been a couple fights later on where it's a mispositioning or not being grouped as a whole, where LNG have struggled and Haichao has struggled himself. But man, 2-0, about to get that Roa fully stacked and also a Seraph's to boot in the back. That's where Rise starts to get really strong. Level 11 to a nice break point for him. So real potential to see Haichao actually put up a big game.
Yeah, and we talked about how EDG kind of has this timer, right, to set members of LNG behind. And, you know, you've got a 21 CS lead up in the top lane. You know, Nefiri is down a couple of camps, but has some assist gold. But this Rise is up right now. And EDG has kind of failed at doing that. And now we're starting to hit the point in games where we see really good teams take advantage of the fact that they were not punished. We'll see if LNG is able to do the same as they secure, or I'm sorry, EDG secured the Rift Herald, but we'll see if LNG can punish the fact that they were unpunished.
I like the fact, too, one of the real positives for LNG this game, Haichao, not only a good matchup into the Ahri, but also historically an old risky counter to the Rumble pick in the top lane. And the side lane later on, with Phase Rush, you can get out of the Harpoons, out of the Equalizer. Rise, very favorable going up against that Rumble as time goes on. So again, see if Haichao can really step up this game. I think he's set up to do so.
Yeah, and you specifically have talked about that Haichao has had games where he's had a lead and hasn't really done anything with them.
It's been uninspiring, Yanni.
Yes.
We're going to leave it with that.
Yes. Well, you can have some opportunities with some Realm Warps. We already saw one good one. Perhaps we're going to see LNG bite back a little bit as this turret is under siege. Multiple members are in the area. Angel's just farming the mid lane while Zika farms the top side. Angel going to look to come through. Does land the charm on the actual dog. So he can do it.
And that chunk's enough for EDG to knock down another outer. Again, 5-1 with the grubs. You do have Zika taking that turret on the top side, but of course he's going to be much slower, down numbers and down grubs. So EDG can actually continue the push and use the Rift Herald here instead of a potential, you know, syncing it up with a Dragon Spawn or trying to crack mid. They want the inner. They want it now.
Yeah. Get your gold. Give it over to some key members. We see Mbessa taking it on the top side here. EDG corralled into the jungle. They did not end up taking that turret, so
yeah,
a little disappointing there, Cubby. Really would have preferred they held it if you're not going to commit for it.
Again, if you're using that Rift Herald just to get a chip damage,
that's
it's not
a group
converting
Nirvana
into,
Rift Herald right there.
Yeah, it's not converting into anything substantial. I thought they were going to really commit for it, but I guess 5T5 onto the Fury, having that potential angle, that was enough to scare them off. That and any potential TP that could have came in from Zika on this Mbessa.
Yeah, and now you take a look at the gold lead, right? It's not even 1,000 yet, and EDG has these 5 grubs. They were able to do some good work and get the turret down on the bottom side, but at this point of the game, you really are expecting more out of them, and they have all this pick potential, and they just haven't really indexed into it. Like, Wink sees LP there. It's like, fire an ultimate on him while On's here, right? Like, try something. Yeah, I know objectives are coming up, but still, like, it's so bland out of EDG right now.
Yeah, a bit, but it's not like they're losing anything on the map quite yet. So
They're going to be soon if they keep this up. They're just not doing anything.
But potentially true. I still think that the Rumble value in the fights is going to be significant in this game. As Wink a little bit far up, decent chunk.
Yeah, he'll be ousted out of the bottom side as this next dragon is up in about 10 seconds. Not sure we have to worry too much about dragon stacking, but realistically, if it gets late enough to the game where that becomes relevant, I think we're pretty happy with where LNG is at, and really looking for ZDZ to be the savior of EDG. So haven't quite gotten there yet. We'll see what EDG wants to do, as Otacon is also on the map right now, as they have control of this river for right now, but losing the midway.
Connecting through mid here, as we'll see if LNG is actually going to play through bot. Of course, Zika did just clear out that wave. And importantly, Otacon also spawned on the bot side of the map, so both monster objectives up on the map on this bot side river. As ZDC going to throw out a harpoon, and they're going to start it. No response to this bot lane. Angel is the one really holding the potential Ambessa flank off. As this formation from EDG... Right, yeah, look out for Zhuo. He has that flash power play, so potential for him to do some.
All right, let's see what... Oh, wait, immediate pick onto Zhuo. Here comes the bullet time, but it's not going to do a whole lot. Wink is down to half HP, but the engage is on LP, as LNG are just so disconnected right now, and the Rumble burns Misfortune alive, and EDG makes it look easy, and now they're going to look to open up the curtain call. Zika going to be in a little bit of trouble, but is able to sidestep, and Haichao gets his teammates out of there.
That was a bit disappointing from LNG.
Oh my god, dude. Like, oh, come on.
Yeah, good engage from Wink. Again, LNG, they don't pull the trigger. Wink is the first one to make the play, and that power play we're talking about by Zhuo, right? You have the flash up, have that magnet storm. There's real potential to find a big engage, and EDG's kind of grouped here. Haichao wouldn't have been in position. LP is not in position. Of course, Zika is still rotating around on this Ambessa, so Zhuo getting caught out like that, unwarranted, and leads to a really poor fight where, again, as you highlighted, Yanni, everyone just so disconnected. Like, Haichao is in mid. Zika was the one looking for the angle. Zhuo getting caught like that before those two were set up really spelled the doom before the fight could even have any potential of getting off to the races there for LNG.
Yeah, and LP cannot be there as a Misfortune, right? Your bullet time did nothing. Then you stepped up and got picked off. Like, you have enough movement speed to be able to rotate around, to be next to Zhuo, to be next to 5T5. It was very disappointing.
I can kind of see a world where he's there if the soul laners were actually trying to pinch and collapse.
Yes,
but again,
I can agree with that.
Like just the timing of that was poor across the board.
All right, now LNG is saying we are going to make a move.
Okay.
Zhuo is here. Multiple members knocked away. Angel's joining the fight. Teleport coming in. ZDZ on the backline getting engaged on. Zhuo is going to die. Flashes over the wall to survive. Does Haichao. ZDZ down to
Equalizer.
But the equalizer is going to go down. And LP is caught. And he is free LP for EDG. Plus 25.
Yeah, now Otacon really on the table for EDG. I got to say, Haichao, his TP instantly had the flash over the wall, and it was a complete non-factor in that fight. Whereas that engage, the attempt from LNG, in the end feels like it's kind of unwarranted, Yanni, as Xiaohao, his ult split the fight, enabled him to actually E backwards towards his team, and LNG, that fight looked like they had no business taking it, as now pushing them off mid. Angel.
Yeah, are they going to lose something for this, potentially? Doesn't look like it, so you will get the turret at the very least. Obviously, you're losing the Otacon, but wondering if they were going to drop any more deaths, as we are going to get the Otacon revives in this game. You know what? It's a nice little treat.
It's been quieter. It's been quieter. It's a little bit harder to guess now, as damage dealt in the game is a bit of a factor. But yeah, taking a look. Look at this ult from Xiaohao. It actually pushes back Zhuo, and then he gets stuck. And then this TP in from Haichao. He has to flash over the wall immediately and just gets nothing done in the fight. I mean, he's heading for the hills the entire time. So just, again, he's the one that really has to be in the front lines. Like, he's the fed one, has the evolved Seraphs, the empowered Roa, right, at 10 stacks. So that's a pretty strong breakpoint for Haichao in the rise, with him not able to do anything in the fight. It also helped really make sure that EDG were able to wipe the floor with LNG in that one.
And Cubby, what you have said may be coming to pass. Haichao will not have too many more opportunities to actually make something happen in these fights. Zika's scoreline is blank right now outside of CS, as we're seeing some fighting in the mid lane on potentially caught out here. It's just going to be the withdrawals, but they still give good gold.
At 200 gold now, and I'm not exactly sure how On was there, but that looked like some pretty unwarranted positioning, Yanni. So good freebie picked up here by LNG, and nice win for them too, with Zika getting this wave all the way in the bot lane, and Bessa going to continue to get those levels, get those items, and scale.
Yep. You buy yourself a little bit of time, and LNG knows that that's all they have to do at this point, right? Just get those solo laners. Your dog, your Neferi is going to be a threat no matter what. And then if LP is able to put in some damage as the game goes on, you'll be happy with what he can do.
Lower right replay, you had On retreating to his team that was rotating up from River, but he got cut off from the Raptor pit. I feel like that walk from him, unwarranted, has to go the safe way.
Second time.
No matter what. Yeah.
Second time that's happened to him this game.
Yeah. So, bit of an oopsie there from EDG. Going to slow the game down a bit as those withdrawals coming to an end. Only 30 more seconds available, and then that Otacon pretty much null and void.
Yeah, and we've really seen a lot of teams use this Otacon to, sure, they'll throw away a couple of their lives but to get some sort of objective, right? You know, if you get a turret for 2, it's actually pretty worth it because of the map control, right? And you don't get that opportunity with that mid lane turret. That's still standing. That bottom tier 2 that you invested the Rift Herald into is still standing gold that your team's not able to claim right now. And it just feels like that EDG has not used the gifts that they've been given in this game very well at all.
Again, frankly, this is a group Nirvana game, and I do have to emphasize yet again that the stakes are high for these players. I mean, this is a really scary group to be in, right? A single round-robin best-of-3 where you have the chance to go to playoffs, or the chance for you to not play until 2026 as a team. So maybe that's why we see a couple things being slower, a couple missed opportunities that are just the group itself. Of course, lower quality play, but the stakes could not be higher. And we'll see if anyone can really step up with the pressure on.
Yeah, that is certainly something to think about, right? It's a little bit more than, you know, being one ranked loss away from demoting, right? This is a little bit more severe.
Bring back series, you know?
Yeah, exactly. A little bit more severe. So the Dragon has been started and will easily be claimed by EDG. Again, don't think it's going to be that much of a factor, although 5v5 is immediately ripping the Baron on Vision right now. LNG has control of the topside river. See if EDG can wrestle their way in. Wink going to get caught here. Trying to get out, down to half HP. They're going to turn it around and get good damage on 5v5. Curtain call coming out. First shot doesn't land. The bullet time just to try to dissuade something, but Angel will chase the dog down, and Xiaohao cleans it up. And now Haichao is going to be the next target. He's rooted, he's charmed, and he is dead. They find him too, as this Ahri has made some plays. Now LNG in the mid lane looking to find something onto ZDZ here. Zika chasing him down, but you mentioned this in the draft. They don't have a whole lot of CC, and no CC for the Rumble here. The Baron being done by EDG. It's slow, but it looks like it's uncontested.
I mean, not a lot of CC and also not a lot of range. We saw the range tools from EDG take over that fight. 5T5 was forced on the wrong side of the rift as he gets isolated, picked off, and not one with the pack there with his team. That's going to be a pretty easy Baron going over to EDG, and the sadly uninspiring performances for LNG kind of continue here, Yanni, as Wink, nice job of buying some space, buying some time. I liked how he buffered his dredge line there. And then, again, Angel burning all 3 stacks to just close the gap on the Fury. I do love this coming in from EDG. I know we saw a couple missed skill shots there, but just the focus to take down the Smite and then the combo of the Deadly Flourish. MF and Mbessa are stuck mid. I mean, just a complete non-factor in this fight is the mid-jungle duo, the Refresh one. 5T5 and Haichao both caught out, isolated, taken down, and now Baron up for EDG. A lot of turrets standing. Got to believe they're going to take a lot of gold with this one.
It was really unfortunate for 5T5. You saw he channeled the Hound's Pursuit just as Wink was able to get his Q off. And connect with the wall, and that put him in that rough position. And, you know, a credit to Haichao for trying to bail him out. It's the most we've seen out of Haichao since getting those first 2 kills. I hate to say it, but, you know, at least you're trying to do something here, as the rest of LNG has struggled. The bottom tier 2 will finally fall. It looks like EDG is ready to start knocking down these mid-turrets.
Ryze might Realm War bot here. As ZDZ still has ult and equalizer. Might be a tough target. Him and Mbessa were setting up. As Angel pops an opportunistic ultimate. That one's going to go to the wayside, but hey, level 16, pretty low cooldown.
Land the second one.
Yeah, it's going to try.
Or you could land an equalizer.
Okay.
You could say, to hell with this CC. Let's go with
Oh.
pure damage. And he goes golden under the turret too. Xiaohao going to tank it up to make sure he's able to get out. The first mid turret will fall as EDG are going to look for more after 2 members have fallen. A 5v3.
Great play there from ZDZ, using that
Flash
Zanya quite well
charm.
as Angel.
He caught Haichao. All the shields in the world can't save you as the onslaught of EDG continues. 5T5 has been put to heal and has to go back to the kennel as the mid inhibitor will fall. The question is, does EDG want to go for more? Zhuo is up, but LP is down for 15 more seconds. 5v3, and the siege continues. They have the grubs, they have good damage, and they are scary. The first turret will fall, the charm goes to the wayside, but LNG just has to buy time. LP is up in 4 seconds, and EDG realizes this, and they will look to walk away.
Zhuo does have flash if they want to go for anything crazy, but that's just going to be it. And EDG just ruined the mid lane against LNG. And, Matt, just the picks, these dredge lines, these charms coming out, with Zhuo being off the table early on, it really feels like no one else can catch these without being punished. And that utility bot lane really creating a lot of space and a lot of time for ZDZ to just melt people in this front line, as this Rumble's been big.
Yeah, it is a well-crafted team comp by EDG. We talked about how these last 2 picks really put a bow on what they wanted to do. You could have went in either direction, and they indexed heavier into pick, and guess what? It was a little slow early, but then you really saw it come to fruition in these couple of fights, right? When Zhuo got picked off near the Dragon, when 5T5 got picked off to kick off the Baron play for EDG.
And, I mean, the one saving grace here for LNG in the back half is that no team really took Dragon early on. So usually at this point, you know, you'd be threatening Soul. Just Soul point available for EDG, and with the Cloud Rift spawning, obviously not one you want to give over for free. Angel's got to be careful here. I'm surprised Haichao just didn't, like, flash. I guess you are trading an ult, but yeah, again, you got to try some at this point. I think Ahri would have escaped for free, but maybe it's a no ult situation for Dragon then. You can go contest that. Said LNG just going to put 4 top and give away this Dragon, and we'll see what happens. They might not even be able to push this in because Ahri has so much wave clear. Yeah, just it's going to be a nice walk in the wilderness. That's about it.
I mean, is that walk in the wilderness nice? Because they look lost right now. Somebody call the park rangers, because these guys have no idea where they are right now. They are being chased down by the Slender Man in their minds because they are so petrified of trying to fight Angel 4v1.
Yanni, the roster swaps don't look too inspiring.
No.
No.
Listen, actually, 5T5, listen, his early game, first game, not too bad. I'm willing to give this guy at least some credit, right?
We didn't do much.
He did not, but he did something, right? Tough situation for him to come into, but showed something at least. LP has not really shown me anything.
LNG still looks like
the same
an an absolute empty carcass, sadly.
They look like Zika this game. He just has a cardio game. This is a cardio game.
Soul's not there, man.
No.
The heart and soul is not there in this LNG team, which is really sad, given what this team's been able to accomplish in a few past years. But no scout. That bot side, of course, going elsewhere, and really feeling the brunt of the pain for LNG as a team fighting for their life now in Group Nirvana. Not what you would have expected if you told someone that a year ago this time, Yanni.
Not at all, Cubby. And going back to your soulless point of LNG, you have esports friends, and you know that sometimes esports friends will sleep into the late afternoon. You ever knock on their door when they just woke up and they're like kind of not all there yet? That's LNG today when they've taken the Rift in this first game. The lights are on, somebody is home, but they're like not like all there yet. Maybe they will wake up. They're making a teleport play, looking to cut somebody off.
I like this angle.
Yeah,
the Jin trap. Is the Jin trap going to find it? Yeah.
It is.
Okay, they spotted Zika.
Well, they know the jig is up, but you have to fight anyway. Let's see if Zika is able to make an impact in this game. 34 minutes in. LNG going to take control of this mid wave here, but Angel cutting off the wave on the backside, so it's all equal, right? And EDG did mention that their damage a little bit low on this Baron, so if not all members are committed to it, it will take some time. Easy off to the side, and Zika in a 1v1, but oh my god! Zika just gets chunked out.
I really like what EDG and in that situation ZDZ were doing, just trying to mark this Ambessa. The last fight, it was the Ari that was marking it. Now,
oh wait, he got caught.
Dead. Okay.
They found him. Yeah, they found him. They take him out, and yeah, this is going to be the game, I think. Is Angel on the backside able to slide out? Zhuo goes down, but he did bring the dog over to On, and On takes a bullet time to the face, but he's all right for now because 5v5 is like, I've got nobody to help. I know the walls are closing in.
Haichao's mid.
LP is just stuck in Haichao's mid.
Haichao's given up, sadly. He kind of wants to go next here from the looks
Haichao
of
has
things.
played this game under protest.
Yep.
He went mid. He will get this turret.
Okay. That's some gold, but everyone's dead. I don't know what kind of Nexus defense we're going to be able to mount here as LNG, as level 18 Haichao going to do his best to clear these waves and keep his team alive.
You know, Cubby, this might be a clutch or kick scenario. Who knows?
You got a death cap.
We don't actually know, Cubby. This could be a League of Legends version of clutch or kick.
Oh,
Zhuo
boy.
is
I
going
don't
to be
like
here.
his chances.
It's 5v2.
Turret's respawning.
The turret is, no, it already has respawn. We just cannot see the health on it. It'll go down eventually, I'm sure. Although Haichao is starting to put out some pretty good damage here. Zika is going into the backline, but the Nexus has been exposed. There's a lot of low health bars, but Angel is getting the free hit. All of a sudden, it's a 2v2. Hang on a minute. Maybe, just maybe, LNG can save the game. Oh, no.
How's that clutch or kick scenario work out if the minions end, Yanni? And not
Did
another
they clutch?
person if you're standing.
Did he
the
clutch?
minions were clutch. Yeah. No, he did not, sadly.
This is the equivalent of going to defuse the bomb and stepping in the Molotov, right? And unfortunately, while you may have gone and won the round, quote unquote, you weren't paying attention to Summit 1G in his stream when he went and stepped in the Molotov, and then all of a sudden you died and you lost the game anyway. LNG, they saved the excitement for the end of the game, and I am still whelmed.
Yeah, looks like we have Wink getting Hog votes. I gotta say, it was a decent game for Wink on the Nautilus. Felt like he was on the front lines of a lot of positive engages coming in. But, I mean, again, for LNG, like this roster swap, you're looking to see if they could get any spark, anything that's been missing for a team that is 1-16, now 1-17 on the Rift this year, and we just don't see it. And for me, the same struggles of Haichao really continue where, yes, like, he actually did get a bit of a lead, but what did he do with it? It was really... Like,
he took a mid-inhibitor turret with it.
His impact was just not felt in that game for me. And there are a couple fights where, like, TPs coming in. Like, that fight where he TPs in, has to flash out immediately and does nothing. Like, that was the last fight of the game where it really felt like it was close. And to have a player just not have an impact like that when they are the ones that are fed, it's really concerning. So, concerns kind of continue here for LNG. And we'll see if anything changes here. You can see EDG were pretty fired up after the minions ended the Nexus there. Definitely wanted that win. And a big one, as every win matters here in Group Nirvana.
Yeah, and they have to be pretty lucky to get that win because against a better team, they would have been punished for their lack of gumption in the early game and their lack of any ability to actually get a lead from what they were given, as we mentioned earlier. So, you know, lucky them, right, in that game. I was going to say I can't imagine that LNG would allow that to happen again in Game 2, but honestly, I can. I honestly can. It's really sad that after looking at that game, I don't really have any good things to say. Like, I'm gonna just be straight up here. Cubby, can you find anything?
LP had a nice MF ult in the one fight they won, and I like how he played that into the flash over the wall, and that. Yeah. And that's about it.
There was a good realm warp there too by Haichao as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the good play before the bad, you know. Yeah.
It's so tough. And you know, I think we talked about how Haichao may be the player that LNG was going to look at and then did not end up being the player that they were going to look at to, you know, make a change. I don't know if this game changes the perception for LNG, right? Because it's a weird thing to play like roster carousel, right? Because at this point, making any other changes afterward, you're just playing roster carousel, right? You and I have seen that in Tier 3, in Tier 2, and no, it does not work, right? We know that this typically does not work.
I mean, LNG, they don't have a backup mid on their roster, so I don't know if they're able to make any changes. Again, I was surprised that jungle and AD were changed when, for me, Haichao is the one where that's probably the change you would have made if I'm really looking to switch anything up on LNG. But we're not privy to the rumors of what's going on over in the LPL or China. Not too much. You know, there's a lot more that happens over on Weibo than Twitter when it comes to that league. We got to rely on our trusted sources that we have that support the LPL English
who knows?
too,
maybe he's a scrim god.
It's tough.
Right? Maybe we just don't actually know because.
Or my theory he makes a great sandwich, and the sandwich cannot practice can't function if Haichao doesn't make his sandwich for the team because it's just too good off the rift. You know, he's too good for the vibes.
He might not get assists on the rift, but he certainly gets assists off the rift, perhaps.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. The Haichao sandwich. What would you put in a Haichao sandwich?
I don't know. You gotta ask him. It's fantastic. You can't beat whatever Haichao's doing. The Haichao sandwich?
Maybe like a banana pepper in there.
I'd say.
I don't even know what kind of meat we're starting with.
I mean, the sandwich definitely doesn't include flash because that's missing.
No.
But you know,
all right.
Yeah.
Taking a look quickly at the damage charts here. Thank God we're seeing the percentages because the numbers were pretty bleak. 5v5 actually did not end up doing that much damage at all. Perhaps I was hypnotized by the early plays made that, you know, maybe doing less than 10k damage. Maybe you were right, Cubby. I apologize for doubting you.
Who knows? I gotta say, in terms of MVP, curious if it goes to Wink or ZDZ. I feel like those would be my two candidates. So
yeah.
Yeah. A lot of damage for the Rumble, looking back.
Yeah, let me get ZDZ, honestly.
Yeah, I think it was nice.
Wink certainly was around in more plays, it felt like. But when ZDZ showed up, people died. Like, people got roasted.
Yeah.
His equalizers were pretty good.
Played the lane well.
Single-handedly kept 3 people away in this fight, like, just by teleporting in Zonia's. So, big stuff there. And, you know, EDG, after a quiet early game, kudos to them. They found picks, and then once they got ahead, like once they realized like this is a fight they could win, they did not let go, and they got their big advantages and then ended the game from there. So at least clean stuff there when they got very far ahead.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, thinking back, a Wink or ZDZ MVP, I think both would be pretty justified. So
yes,
this play was the one I was really impressed with by ZDC. Yeah, again, just the overheat. Positions the Flame Spitter really nicely before he goes golden. Team helps him juggle the aggro on the way out. That's good stuff coming out of EDG as ZDZ again proves that, like, it feels like every top laner can do in the LPL. There's so many mean Rumbles in this league, and Rumble's so strong right now. Just continues to be a priority pick. Really something that hasn't changed throughout the season. That has had a lot of changes in it.
Yeah, and then taking a look at this fight, I mean, you see this pick right now, but how did he get so low? It was ZDZ on the side, recognizing I am just going to mark Zika all game long, and that's really what he did, right? You know, Zika had before that fight a 0-0-0 score line, and this was a very late fight in the game. Really just did a good job of shutting down the ace of LNG, really. Oh my God, we have a third health bar.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how this one panned out in the end. As the one who played it really nicely was actually Zika. That public execution was really big, and then again able to get through everyone at the end. Just not able to get through the rest of the minions. As
was it a grub? I think it was a grub. I think it was that grub on the. Yeah, I think it was the grub that was just under
a Twitch chatter?
The Nexus turret. Yes, I believe one of you went and helped out EDG win that game. Whichever one it was, you guys can decide amongst yourselves. But, you know, I've seen the chat sometimes. Let's not make it a total war out there.
I mean, I will say I'll take a war for the MVP. I think ZDZ, Wink, both justified.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens as we get ready to go. We're going to see MVP. We'll go into the break, go into the next game. Yanni, are there any changes that you want to see be made? I know we've been a little bit, I think, rightfully hard on LNG. Likely they're going to go to the blue side. I can't really think of, like, any promising strats or picks that I want to see from them. But they got a couple new faces. Okay. So I'm kind of curious if there's anything that you want to see for this upcoming game.
I'd like to see them play something a little bit more early game oriented, right?
I want to see Haichao like die, just because I feel like when you're 2-0 on Rise and you don't do anything, like at least if he dies, he's doing something. It's like, you know, the Dion Waiters / the Shy mentality. Is I'm not going to get Sentelled up here.
Shoot or shoot.
Yeah,
shoot or shoot. You know,
I need Haichao to take some shots.
Yes, he needs to start shooting. He looks very Ben Simmons out here, and I need him to look a little bit more like Steph Curry. But we are going to go kick it to a very short break. But before we do, I want to give a big shout out to our Ko-Fi and YouTube subscribers, right? Because you guys level up the show. You help us level up the show. A lot of the initial payments go into upgrading the broadcast. We saw all the new graphics that we have. Really cool stuff. Shout out Chris Sunga. But a huge bulk of this goes to paying on-air talent and our content creators. If you subscribe to our call fee, linked in the chat, you can unlock perks like early access to content and the ability to ask interview questions for our unique on-site interviews. They are going to be very, very cool. This is a very cool thing that you can do. So go ahead and check that out. But we're going to run to the break now. When we're back, we'll kick it to the Game 2 draft. We will see you there.